Watch the sell side down here on ES. Even though that NASDAQ is way up there, high up in its intraday high range, it will likely smash down and catch up and take the sell side out on it as well. S&P's just cleaned out its stops below the low here, and Dow is really showing weakness. NASDAQ still not making that lower low. So when we have situations like this, you turn your attention to the NASDAQ. If you want to study like a potential setup, you can look for the NASDAQ to try to catch up because it's the stronger one right now. That might change gears and it becomes weakened or sickened because of all of the weight that's placed on the marketplace, like we've seen in the Dow. If you look at the Dow, which is YMH2023 on TradingView, and NASDAQ symbol is NQH2023. Actually, I can do this. Hang on. That's NASDAQ right now. So see the difference between that? I would expect it to run down here. So the setup, if you're paper trading, if you're tape reading, you're going to watch and observe how this market wants to respect maybe this wick consequent encroachment and this consequent encroachment of that wick. Watch between those two. Okay, and see if we can get a run down into the sell side to catch up with what we've already seen in the Dow and in the ES. Do not trade it. Some of you already run into NQ putting orders in. Stop. Okay, this is not the kind of morning for that. Let's go back to ES real quick. Actually, let's leave it on here because I want you to see it run. Let me show you the Dow. There's Dow. See how it's made a lower low? There's your model 22 short sell side. We're trading into it here. ES, let's go back to that real quick. Okay. Ran right to the buy side we were looking for. And let's go to NASDAQ because that's the one that should be delivering on a deferred basis. So you're going to look down here. That's where the liquidity is. All the retail that chased all this run, the books tell them to put their stop loss right below that low. What kind of stop loss is that? A sell stop. Why would they want to take it down there? Because they sold short to all the buy stops resting above this high here. So smart money short from up here, and they're going to do offset distribution, which is when they short above an old high and accumulate buy stops. The way they want to profit is they wait for the algorithm to reprice below. I said the word I wasn't supposed to be saying, right? They wait for the market to want to go below the old support level, right? Where there's going to be sell stops. So they can short to buy stops and buy sell stops. So that's that market efficiency paradigm that I teach in my core content lessons. Dow is just getting smashed. $40.29.50 on your ES chart. Make sure you have that on there. That is a low from January 30th at 3:30. So January 30th, 2023. Have that level, and again the level is 4029.50. NASDAQ has a small little fair value gap right in here. But we're wild this morning, so you have to consider these wicks. And because there's two of them back to back, I like to look at the midpoint of that one and the midpoint of that one because it can return like it's doing right here. NASDAQ is a little bit of a wild beast. Okay, it exaggerates its moves. And if you're wrong and you're offside, you can get smashed really quick. ES is a little bit more tamer. A lot more professionals trading that one. Not that you can't trade NQ, obviously. Dow's near its low of the day. I'd like to see this little gap right here stay open. And if we break a lower, that would be a breakaway gap. And we could, it looks like it's going to come back for it now. You see, it's back into it. Now let's just say, for sake of discussion, say we were not on the heels of a holiday. Okay, say we were not on the heels of a holiday, and we had the situation we have right here, where the Dow made lower lows, the S&P made lower lows. As soon as we traded up into that fair value gap right there, I would not, that you should now understand what I'm saying. I would have used this as a short to get in to make a run for this down here. But I'm not trading NASDAQ, and I'm not inspiring, or hopefully not inspiring, any of you to push a button. But because we're in this market environment, it's still inside the opening range. We have 2 more minutes. It's the first 30 minutes of trading. Once that first 30 minutes is transpired, you want to identify your 15-5 and 1 minute buy side and sell side liquidity pools, and where all of your inefficiencies are. And that's the template that you work with between 10 o'clock and lunchtime noon. Everything will transpire based on that information. Every single day, it's the same thing. But you have to have that first 30 minutes to give you that lay of the land, the territory in which you're going to explore and seek new setups. And it's going to be in the basis of repricing to a premium, repricing to a discount, running stops, or returning to inefficiencies. And there's your drop off that fair value gap we mentioned right there. So you want to screenshot that. That's the setup too, in case those of you who want to do the NQ instead of ES. You had another live example here. So let's go back to ES now. See how boring this stuff is? Even on days where it's low probability, it's the same stuff repeating all the time. It's not random. There's no reason for us to be, what just happened? Where'd that come from? That's infancy. That's somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, or highly emotional. I get emotional in Twitter spaces, but not in price action. So now we have the condition where we have all 3 averages, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the ES. All of them now have made lower lows.